Hey everybody, welcome back to the Highway with Kyle Shutt. We are home from tour. I am so tired, but man, it was good to be back on the road again. We had so much fun. Straight up murdered the West Coast. It was great. We haven't. I'm seriously, the tour hasn't felt like that in a long, long time. So thank you everybody that came out. Yeah, we're doing the tour wrap up episode this week. I am going to answer all of your burning questions. And you know me, I don't give a shit. You ask a smart-ass question, I'm going to give you a smart-ass answer. This is going to be a lot of fun. I always love when y'all chime in. And before we dig in here, I just want to give a quick shout-out to our amazing crew, Buddy and Sam, that keep us rolling down the road. We couldn't do it without y'all. Really appreciate it. Also, a big shout-out to Zombie, who we had been trying to tour with for about 15 years. And seeing all that come together it just warmed my cold, dead heart. Now, I know y'all are as crazy as me. I didn't look at any of these questions before. I'm going in blind. So, yeah, let's do things my way.
The Highway.
All right, here we go. Y'all got the questions. I got the answers. We're just gonna dig right in here. Let's see. Number one is Chris Cole. Hey, Chris Cole, friend of the show. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for asking a question. Hope you're doing well, bud. It's good to see you in LA. Chris wants to know, with you revisiting the old catalog, are there any songs you have a new respect or love for? And are there any that you'd like to add to the set list? Yeah, actually, we've been revisiting a lot of the Gods of the Earth songs for reasons that you're going to have to stay tuned for. But in relearning a lot of those and trying to play them again and stuff, like songs like The Frost Giant's Daughter or Lords, we've been a band a long time, and we've changed a lot over the years, sure, and stuff. But going back and just trying to get into the headspace that I was in whenever we were writing those songs, it just blew my mind how many notes there were, just like, we were in the practice space just messing around, and I was telling the guys, can you believe we made all this music on so much weed? I don't know how we did it. I mean, I guess you just have to chalk it up to youthful endurance, but yeah, all those, especially Gods of the Earth and Warp Riders, so many notes, so much weed smoked. I don't know how we came up with all that, but we did it. So yeah, it'd be nice to bring back Frost Giant at some point, or the Black River. That song is really, really great. And yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Chris. Let's see next. Kenny Irwin, what's up, Kenny? Big Kenny wants to know top 5 favorite green rooms and why. I don't know if we have time for 5 right now, but I'll give you a couple. Probably the best green room in the nation is in Birmingham, Alabama. The band Man or Astro Man, I don't know if you've heard them, but go check them out if you haven't. That band owns a club. I think it's called Saturn in Birmingham, and the green room is basically an apartment above the club that's got a full kitchen. I think it can sleep from 8 or 10 people, something like that. Bunk beds. Each bunk bed has its own built-in enclosure with like a N64 and a DVD player in it and a TV, and there's a pool table, full kitchen, just tons of records and a record player, a million movies. I mean, it is the best green room ever, and they'll let bands stay there overnight for a very, very modest price. All things considered, that is probably the best one. We've had lots of late night parties in there. But there's probably another great one. Having a hard time thinking off the top of my head, but yeah, that one takes the cake. I could tell you more horrible green rooms than I could amazing ones, if that tells you anything. You know what? On this last tour, I'll do this one more. On this last tour, there was a club in Spokane called the Lucky You Lounge. That it was a great place to play. We sold it out. It was amazing, and the green room was like almost like a little diner. I had like a little booth in there and a little kitchenette. I don't know. It was just a very lovely time. Thank you, Spokane. Oh, I'll give you one more, and then I'll leave this alone. But the historic Warfield Theater in San Francisco. While it's not the, I don't know, nicest or the cleanest backstage, it's a very famous place where like the Grateful Dead used to play all the time, and Jerry Garcia's dressing room has a sink in it, and apparently before the theater had plumbing back in the day. It's a very old building. Jerry would request that to be his dressing room so he could pee in the sink, so everybody knew not to touch the sink. And also another thing down there beneath the Warfield is a rather large room, kind of like a long hallway almost, where everyone that you've ever heard of has signed that wall. It is covered floor to ceiling with little Sharpie signatures. I mean, Britney Spears signed it, Obama, fucking Nirvana. There's a okay, I'll tell you this story. There's a little Nirvana signature area that they've framed off where no one's allowed to sign near that, and the only things else that are in that little framed off square, Kirsten Dunst apparently put on some lipstick and kissed Kurt's signature, and they let that slide. But what they didn't let slide was when Norm Macdonald was down there, rest in peace, he took his Sharpie out, and they were kind of like waiting for him to find a place to sign, and they said, and that over there is Nirvana, nobody can sign in there. And he goes, oh, I was friends with those guys, they wouldn't care. And so Norm went and signed in the little Nirvana framed area, and apparently they banned him from the Warfield for life. So yeah, that's just a little taste of what we get into backstage. So let's see here. What's next? Enhanced Humanoid. What's up, Steve? From Zombie. He wants to know, y'all still smoke? Man, now that weed's legal everywhere, we are just lousy with nugs, man. I don't really smoke that much at home anymore, but God, it's like a 24-hour weed smoking contest once we hit the road. So yes, we still smoke. Okay, let's keep going down. Coyote Radio, great band from Austin. They want to know, are you hanging for South by Southwest? Anything killer on your radar? I hate to be that guy, but I just don't do South by. I try to avoid downtown Austin at all costs during that time. I purposefully this year didn't even look at any show listings or anything. I love it. We have a long history with South by Southwest, and I've been there. I've done that. I don't mean to sound jaded, but it's for the young kids. It's for the unsigned bands. It's for people trying to get out there and make a name for themselves. So good luck to anybody that's out there right now. I know Taipei Houston is there, a band that opened for us in LA. So if anybody's out there want to see Taipei Houston, they're a great band. Let's see. Jimmy the Donut wants to know, what made you choose that song as the encore? He's referring to Mr. Crowley. We on this last tour had Steve from Zombie hop on stage with us with a synth, and yeah, we ripped Mr. Crowley, Aussie classic. I was, I can't remember whose idea that was. It might have been Steve's or Brian, our bass players. But I was really intimidated, at the solo, of course, it being sort of Randy Rhoads being one of the greatest heavy metal guitar players of all time. But he was he was a little sloppy, he was a little rough around the edges, even though he was very inventive. So, anytime you take on something super classic like that, it is a little intimidating, but I had a lot of fun with it. I even learned a thing or two. So yeah, there you go. That's how we did that. Let's see. Rock Savage Pod, great podcast, friends of the show. I've been on it before. Everybody check them out. They want to know, ready for that new album, projected release date? No, we have no projected release date. To tell you the truth, we have a little house cleaning to do before we go there. But we are back as a band, and we're happy to be here, and we do plan on moving forward. But there's just no timeline right now that we can commit to. But that's okay. We have plenty of tour dates on the map, and we're keeping that band tight. Jimmy Vela, our drummer, wants to know, what the dog doing? It's kind of an inside joke, but thanks, Jimmy. Let's see. Let's keep going down the line here. Okay, here we go. Intro Void wants to know, if the sword starts swinging full time, will you continue the podcast? That's actually a really good question. I try as hard as I can to keep this podcast up to date, but just so you all know, I'm flying 1 week at a time here. You know, if nobody answers their phone and doesn't want to hop on the program, you end up just having to listen to me for 45 minutes, and I don't want to do that to you all the time. So as long as I can keep it going, I'm going to keep it going, and I sincerely appreciate everybody that checks us out, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everybody that hops on the Patreon and keeps the show going. It means so much. So I promise to keep it up to date as much as I can. So thanks for that. Let's see here. Austin Buchanan, what's up, my man? He wants to know, what gets y'all by on those long drives in between cities and shows? Sleep, fooling with the phone, play games, smoke? Yes, all of the above. I'm a sleeper. I'm a van sleeper. I like to, I call it time traveling. If I can, just zonk out for that 9-12 hour drive, whatever, as much as I can, I will, although it does completely fuck up my sleep schedule. But that's fine. When you're on tour, you're sort of living out of time. So that's great. But, I don't really, I don't like to read on tour. I don't know. When I'm on tour, that's what I do. I travel, I play shows, I try to experience the city that I'm in. I really don't like to game all that much. We have been known to hook up a PS4 backstage and just rip on some GTA 5, just to, get some of the anger out, or what are the frustration out by, crashing a car into a building. But it's fun. It's a good time. That's it. So let's see. Beef Supreme wants to know, what is your favorite band to tour with? I'm going to offend somebody with this answer probably. It's just hard to pick. We tour with so many amazing bands. I don't want to pick one and say that they're more fun than the rest. But I will say some of the more fun tours we've been on, obviously, Metallica and all those guys. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That was so fun. We did a tour with Red Fang and this band called Honky, who has Jeff Pincus from Butthole Surfers in it. It was a very short run, but we had such a great time. It's always the short runs that we have the most fun in. We did a little run with Ruby the Hatchet where we had such a good time, and I can't believe we haven't toured together since then. But yeah, that's Zombie was great. We just did that. Like I said, we'd been wanting to do that for a long time. So yeah, it was good times. Let's see who's next. North Star Studios wants to know, are you open to collaborations or session work? Absolutely. Call me up anytime. You want me to play a solo on your record or just collab on some stuff? Just send me a message. 9 times out of 10, if I have the time, I will be right on that. So yeah, hit me up. Let's see. Sammy Psychedela wants to know, how are the set lists decided on? Usually our singer will write them. I will write like a fake one that gets quickly thrown out the window, and then he writes one. He's better at deciding the things like that, dynamic flow and stuff. Let's see here. Brett Solferino, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. How you been? He wants to know, outside of playing or creating music, what's your favorite part about being a musician? The travel. I consider myself, our band, we're entertainers. We're traveling, touring musicians, and when my body is moving forward at 80 miles an hour, that's when I really feel at home. And it's just, there's no other feeling like it. I've spent more than half my life doing it, and this is traveling. The pandemic was pretty rough, like sitting still like that. That was the longest that I had gone without playing a show in 25 years, I think. So it was, it's good to be back. That's all I got to say. Let's see. Neve 13 wants to know, what city had the best weed? Oh man, we got so much fucking killer weed on this tour. It's hard to just say. You know what? This homeboy out in Denver, I don't want to say his name in case he wants to remain private, but started his own operation making rosin, wax, flour, all of it, and he gave us a rad sampling of his wares. Currently, I am smoking on one called Elon's Musk. Good Lord. But he had High Society, Kim Driver, great weeds out there that he's growing. And thank you so much for hooking us up. Let's see here. Brady Luhis wants to know, what's the hardest song to play perfect every night? There's a couple. There's Dying Earth isn't necessarily the hardest song to play as a whole, but the solo that I wrote for it that kind of like culminates like right before the climax of the song is one of the hardest runs to just nail perfectly every time. And I actually played it on a guitar that had 24 frets when we recorded it, and my signature Reverend guitar only has 22 frets, like most normal guitars. And so whenever I have to go up to that super double octave, I basically just have to bend the 22nd fret on the high string all the way up to that high C. And you know what? Sometimes I do it a little bit better than others. But a song that's really hard to play all the way through perfectly actually is Night City. You wouldn't think it. I guess it doesn't sound that complicated, but just the structure of that song and the swing of it and everything, it's pretty difficult to land every single little hit every single time, which is probably why we don't play it that often. Jay Oblivion wants to know, how do you like that case, buddy? I'm assuming he's talking about my Calton case that they made for me. It's the nicest thing I own, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is absolutely indestructible. I mean, I love that case. It's a gold case with black velvet on the inside for my gold guitar with the black pick guard. So it's like it's a whole package. Like that guitar is going to live in that case for the rest of my life. So thank you, Calton, and yeah, I love the case. Let's see here. Glenna Lee wants to know, what's your favorite Clutch song? Ooh, dang, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of the song that really sold me on Clutch. I wasn't like the biggest Clutch fan. I didn't dislike them, but they were just one of those bands. There was a lot of bands like that, kind of like back in the early 2000s, that had that like kind of funky swagger that we were trying to dance around ourselves. And but Clutch didn't really resonate with me until I heard the song "The Guild of Mute Assassins." It's on their "Slow Hold to China" compilation, and I think that was the song where I was like, oh, these guys are fucking onto something new. I never really paid attention to Neil's lyrics before that song, and after that I started to really dive into his lyrics and realized how clever they are and just how much better they are than pretty much any other band. And then when Clutch asked us to go on tour with them for the first time, I had seen them before, but I saw them on a tour where Tim Salt, their guitar player, had fucked his hand up or something, and their manager, Jack Flanagan, rest in peace, he was a good friend, he filled in on guitar, so I really didn't get the full experience, I feel like, whenever I saw them that first time. So the first time that we played with them was the first time that I saw them with Tim in the band, and it just absolutely blew me away. If y'all out there haven't seen Clutch and you're still on the fence, you have to see them live. They are hands down one of the best rock bands that are still kicking around today. I hope they're around for many more years. So yeah, that's it. Let's see. Wallace, Man or Hunt wants to know, how's the book coming? A lot of people want to know how the book's coming along. We're getting there, y'all. I wrote the first draft, and I'm in the process now of sort of revising it, rewriting it, and getting it in shape. I will say that two things. Writing a book is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and thank you all for your patience. And also, as I began writing it, it just became this big sprawling thing that I felt was very unfocused and real disjointed. So, and I'm an idea man. It's hard for me to keep one idea going at all times, which is why I have a podcast and a band and a solo career and all this other stuff going on at the same time. But it made more sense to me for me to write about what I want to write about, to make it shorter and more concise, and then save the rest of the stuff for a second book that I will be writing. That I'm not going to kickstart that one. I'm not going to make y'all suffer again. But yeah, the first book, Written in Stone, is going to be out soon, and then volume 2 of that is going to be more of like a self-help guide called Welcome to Help, the 666 Stages of Grief. So I've been through a lot in the past couple years, and I have a lot to say about it, but I didn't want to bog down the first book with all that negativity. So yeah, the first one's gonna be a lot more positive and happy. So it's coming. I promise you all, it's coming. Let's see. JX Kiaxis, however the hell you pronounce that, wants to know, will you guys ever perform Age of Winters all the way through? We have. We did it in San Francisco at Slim's one time. We did 2 nights at Slim's, and the first night, without announcing it, we just walked out and played Age of Winters, the whole thing, front to back. You wouldn't, I wouldn't think that playing an entire album like that would be difficult per se, especially because we played all those songs a million times. But there's something about when you play an album in its entirety, it sort of trips you out. It becomes like a big body of work. It's like performing like a suite or like a concerto or something. You know what I mean? It's like it's something very clinical about it. It's weird. But we did it. We had a great time. And then Rocky Moon, who's also a friend of the show, singer for American Sharks, whenever we took American Sharks on tour, they opened those 2 shows at Slim's. And the second night, he went up on stage and said, something like, "Hey, everybody, you ready to see the sword?" And people cheered. And then he goes, "Oh, man, y'all should have been here last night. They played Age of Winters all the way through." And like all 600 people in the room just at the same time went, "Oh." It was so funny. I was like, "Damn, Rocky, you just bummed out like 600 people." But we still rocked the crowd. It was great. Everybody had a great time. So yeah, we've already done that. The Real ZB wants to know, when is a repress of Apocryphon coming? Dude, every time we repress it, it sells out immediately. We can't make them enough, and then I see these shits on Discogs going for like $250. It's insane. The original run of Apocryphon there were so many variants of it. I want to say there was over 20 different colors that we did. It was, I don't know, it was our fastest selling, arguably most successful album. And because of that, it's just all the vinyl got scooped up, and then every time we repress it, it's just gone immediately. We can't keep enough stocked, and also like everybody knows the vinyl manufacturing delays these days make it virtually impossible to get anything in any timely manner. So all I gotta say is, the next time we announce it, just keep your eye out and pounce on it the second you see it, because it could be the last one. Okay, let's see here. 12-pound Wasp wants to know, worst green room toilet. There's some bad ones. Probably, the worst one, this club has been long closed, but the old emos, the original emos, had the absolute worst toilet, because there was no green room for the band. You were just, out there in the public. And the men's room in emos back in the day, that disgusting piss trough and just broken toilet bowls, and just, God, nothing good ever happened in that bathroom. It was the fucking worst. The first tour we ever did with Trail of Dead back in 2005, it was a big national tour. We played many, many amazing venues, and but when the last show of the tour was at Emos, and I remember my friends were asking me, like, "Oh man, what was the worst club you ever played on tour?" And I paused and I thought about it, and I just looked around and I said, "Emos." It was a shithole. It sounded like garbage, and but it was our clubhouse, and we loved it. And I miss it every day, but that's okay. So let's see here. Next up, right, 86 Ghosts wants to know, what's your favorite part of the set? Walking on, mid-show, or ending when the crowd goes insane? That's different every night. I really do enjoy the moment when we walk on, and it just becomes, I don't know, it's like the beginning of a relationship with us and the crowd. We're all trying to, like, what's going to happen? We don't know. We're still trying to figure out, what we're all into. And by the middle of the set, we have a really good idea of what kind of people we're dealing with. And some crowds, go totally insane and, start moshing like right off the bat. Some crowds only mosh during like the slowest songs. It's the weirdest thing when, like, you think it'd be like Iron Swan comes on and everybody goes nuts, but really it's like Sometimes like we play Tears Like Diamonds and that's what sets the crowd off. You never know. It's weird. Some nights the crowd just fucking stands there and stares at us, and I used to think that was weird, but then I just realized like, oh, they're all so fucking high. They're just they're having the best time of their life. They're just catatonic. They can't move. That's how good the weed is these days. So yeah, it depends. That's a rotating answer. Let's see who's next. RDM Band wants to know the top 5 most drunk you have ever been. Oof, I don't know about top 5, but I remember the drunkest I've ever been. There was, I hate this story. There was one tour that we were on. God, I can't remember who it was, but we were playing New Orleans, and I was in a mood. I was just kind of, I don't know, you tour with everybody. You're 6 inches away from everyone's fucking farts for 9 months out of the year. You just get kind of sick of it. And you need to go fuck off and do your own thing for a while, or I do at least. And I was in a mood that day, and I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna just go burn this city down. And so we finished sound check, and I just left. I just threw the guitar in the case and just walked out. I remember going to get one of those Everclear hand grenades, and then when I bought my second one, that's when I just don't remember anything. And I came to mid lap dance in the Hustler Club on Bourbon Street to my phone ringing, and I was like, "Huh? What's going on?" I don't remember going in there, anything. And it was my tour manager basically saying "Where the fuck are you? You're going on in 5 minutes." So I just threw some money at that kind dancer. I ran all the way down to Lewis Street to get to One Eye Jack's, and basically stumbled backstage about a minute and a half before needing to go on, visibly wasted. And I'm sure the rest of the band was thrilled to see me in that state. I completely fucked up Horn Goddess that night in front of a sold-out room and felt like a total asshole. I had no business being that drunk. I learned my lesson, and the next morning, the first thing I did was, before anyone could say anything, I profusely apologized and promised never to do that again. And it's never happened again, thank God. But sometimes you have to walk up to the line and put one toe over it to know exactly where the line is, and I know where the line is now, and so I don't have any regrets. And plus, it was New Orleans. Everybody there was shit-faced anyways. Who cares? But yeah, that's the most drunk I've ever been. Top 5, yeah, pick your other 4. I don't know. Moz6541 wants to know, did you get to see anything cool in any of the towns you visited? Which place do you want to go back to and check out more? I don't know. This one, we did the West Coast, and you don't really get to see a lot on West Coast tours. The drives are really insane, and there's only so many cities you can play. So yeah, we did 14 shows and drove 10,000 miles. So really didn't see a whole lot. We did pass the Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo. That was fun. But it was negative 14 out, so we didn't feel like getting out and taking pics. Amarillo is really cool. There's a great little brewery down there called Pondicetta Brewing Company, with a couple of dudes in a band called Trench Rat work there. They're a great place. Hope y'all are doing good. Amarillo's cool, I didn't know I was going to be blowing up Amarillo here, but here we are. Let's see here. Matador 1916 wants to know, any arena, city, or country that you would like to play but haven't been able to play yet? Yeah, I would love to play Red Rocks. I'm not sure that it's ever going to happen. That's fine. But you never know. I've gotten to play so many fucking amazing places, so I feel like complaining about the places that I didn't get to play is a really shitty thing to do. But we never got to play Madison Square Garden. I would like to do that before I die. I don't know if it's going to happen. We already did Radio City and so many other amazing venues like the Beacon. But yeah, MSG, that would be a real treat if we ever got to do that. I've also never, in all of our travels, I've never been to, Africa, never been to China. Not that we could play there or anything like that, but it would be, if at all possible, it would be fun to dip down into that zone at some point. But I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. Let's see here. JB Collective 9 wants to know, it's not really a question, it just says, Kyle Shutt, Acoustic Electric. Reverend did make me, for when I did the Doom Side of the Moon project, a white version of my Reverend signature with the piezo bridge in it, so it's like an acoustic simulator, and that's what I used on the when we did the Low Country tour. That's what I would kind of use to mimic that, some of those acoustic sounds and things. But yeah, that's it. Let's see. Just scrolling down here. Oh God, here's a good one. 402 fuck the world wants to know, why didn't you come through Nebraska? Cry face emoji. Okay, so anytime you people fucking ask a question like this is how I read it. Why didn't you come to Nebraska? It was specifically because we didn't want to look at you. 402 fuck the world. No, you know what? Tours get booked. We try to make it as many places as we can. We aren't always going to make it to your city, but you know, like I just said, 14 shows, 10,000 miles. You know, you can't drive 200 miles to see one of the shows. You know, where are you in Nebraska? You're in Lincoln. You couldn't just like take a little trip south to Lawrence, Kansas to see us. We drove all the way out here. You can't drive to see us. Now I'm all mad. Thanks, bud. At least it wasn't come to Brazil. I would love to come to Brazil. Yeah, I'll get right on it. I'm sorry. All right. All right. DM Burke 17 wants to know, what is one piece of guitar gear that you have to have on tour? My guitar. Trying to think of a real answer instead of being a smartass. You gotta have a Peterson Strobe tuner when you go on tour, if you want to intonate your guitar and set it up, or change tunings, or just do any kind of basic guitar intonation repair. Get yourself a Peterson Strobe tuner and keep it in the workbox at all times. You can try to intonate your guitar with a Boss Chromatic or something, but you're probably going to make the problem worse. Get a Strobe tuner. You got to have one. You don't have to keep it on your pedal board, but if you're going to work on your guitar, that's what you need. Let's see here. This is a weird one. Curtis Sykoff wants to know, what happened in Spokane during Zombie's set where the big bearded fellow was dragged out? I was grabbing a beer. Also, why did Zombie's vocalist scoff at me and not answer when I said welcome to Spokane? Yeah, it's gross here, but dang. Oh my God. Wow. That show was so oversold out that like I couldn't even get in the room to see Zombie, so I didn't see what happened, but my guess would be that some big fat dude got really drunk and made a fool out of himself and got escorted the fuck out of there. Happens. But I don't know why Steve scoffed at you when you said welcome to Spokane. I mean, that was a beautiful venue. I don't know. It was, we always used to play the Pin downtown, and downtown Spokane is fucking rough. I'm not gonna lie. All right, here's a good one. Woolly Bugger wants to know, do you ever do any of your podcasts while on tour? Like from the bus or the green room? Well, the bus. Yeah, we don't really do that anymore. But and he says, I think it would be cool to do a quick segment with the local openers. Number one, we're not on a bus. Number two, we don't have local openers anymore. But I did take my gear on tour with the intention of doing a podcast on the road. But like I just said before, like when I'm on tour, I just kind of like to be on tour. It's difficult to do anything else except be in the sword. It takes a lot out of me every day. It takes a lot out of all of us. And I feel like if I would start to spread myself too thin or like get distracted with a different project, it would probably detract from the show. And so for that reason, I am not going to do podcasts on tour. Maybe I might do one if it really feels right. I'll do it. I'll bring my gear with me just in case. But most of the time, it's better when I just treat it like a home project. So yeah, and but the fun part is like going and making friends on tour and then getting them as guests on the podcast later. That's been a lot of fun. So look out for a zombie episode here pretty soon. Let's see here. Mike in Hi-Fi wants to know, now that tour is over, how's that Elden Ring? Oh my God. If y'all know me at all, you know I love From Software and all the Dark Souls games and that kind of stuff. Elden Ring, I was actually going to wait a while to play it, just because I have a lot going on, like I say, finishing the book. I'm about to have to move. I just got a lot going on in my life, and I didn't have time to just sit down and play a game. But then, like, just, I don't know, scrolling Twitter, seeing all my friends playing it. I got FOMO so fucking bad. I can't remember what city it was, but I caved. I think in Albuquerque, I was like, fuck it, I'm buying it. And everybody knows if you play PC games, like, it takes forever to download a game when you buy it. So I knew that I wasn't going to play it until I got home. So I downloaded it, installed it, updated it, did all the things that I have to do just so that when I got home, I could open it up and just start straight away. And God, it's so fun. It's really, really difficult in ways that aren't similar to how the Dark Souls games are difficult. It's a very big game. The whole open world aspect of it, like Souls games are very linear. You have to go from A to B. That's just what you do, and it's very difficult. But the difficult thing about Elden Ring is, like, even figuring out what to do. Like, the world is so open and there's so little direction that it just forces you to explore and have fun with it. So right now, I mean, I've already been transported to a crystal cave and abandoned in the middle of some hellish other part of the world. I've already run into dragons, giants. I will say that the bosses and just the larger enemies in general are so much more difficult than they are in the Souls games. They're faster. Their movesets are relentless, and it is very difficult to, just get find some good footing in there and make some progress. It's tough. It's a tough game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. All right, that wraps up all the Instagram questions. You can find me there at Kyle Shutt. And we're gonna move on to the Twitter questions here. You can find me on Twitter at Shutt_solos. Lent Music, what's up, man? Lent Music is a great label out of Australia, real boutique kind of a cassette releases. Go check out their stuff. They released the Kyle Shutt covers cassette, and it was all the cover songs that I did over the pandemic. So if you want to get a physical copy of that, you can get it right from them, or you can get it directly from me. Just send me a message if you want to buy one. Lent wants to know, do you personally prefer doing the same set every night on tour, or having flexible spots so you can change songs in and out each night? There's a certain comfort in doing the same set every night, although it can get a little sterile. We usually have, like, rotating slots, you know what I mean, where we'll do, like, the same beginning and end, but then the middle is kind of like a bit of a free-for-all just to keep it interesting. Some of my favorite songs to play are some of, like, the more difficult ones to get to come across live. So I don't always get to play every single song I want to, but some of the ones that we don't get to play that I really enjoy playing are like Dream Thieves or Tears of Fire. We'll play them every once in a while, but yeah, I don't know. Those are a lot of fun. Jeff Lynn, what's up, Jeffers? How you doing, bud? Jeff wants to know who had the sexiest shoes on this tour. You know what? We all are going to have some sexy kicks pretty soon. Etnies is sending us a little care package, so we're going to be looking fly as hell on this next run. So I don't have an answer for you yet, but on the Clutch tour, we'll see who's looking hot. Let's see, Steve Wigg. What's up, Steve? So good to see you in San Fran. He wants to know, what's your favorite thing to dip in ranch dressing? We have a bit of a, I don't know what you call it, a dumb thing that we do. Maybe I started it. I don't know, but we like dipping Cheetos in ranch. It is delicious, but then I don't know, that just kind of bled over to other things, like just started dipping whatever in ranch. Tony from Zombie, I think I made him dip a raspberry in ranch. It was doable. We definitely did it. On the Primus tour, we actually got Les Claypool hooked on Cheetos and ranch. He would come in our dressing room, smoke our weed, tell us stories, and eat all of our Cheetos and ranch. He was a class act, that Les. All right, Matahari wants to know, do fans ever make you uncomfortable? Yeah. I mean, not all of them, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to be rude. One thing that I don't like is, when people say shit like, what's up, man? Oh my God, I love your band, dude. Y'all music gets my fucking dick hard. Like, for whatever reason, like, a lot of people say that. It's weird. I don't like it. And I'm probably gonna like make a weird face at you and then walk away if you say some shit like that to me. I don't care. I mean, I'm not offended. It's just like I just don't have anything else to say in response to that. So yeah. God, I don't know. Let's see. Chris Scalzio wants to know why isn't the song Apocryphon on a Marvel movie soundtrack, such as the new Doctor Strange movie? It's perfect for those. Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. If it was up to me, and my fucking band's songs would be in every fucking movie soundtrack. Okay, I'm trying to like say this in a way that is concise. This is how licensing works. There's a couple different ways it could work. For the movies like that, big budget movies like that, they have music supervisors, and those music supervisors have relationships with lots of publishing companies, and those publishing companies submit songs to those music supervisors, who then pick and choose what gets put in the movie, which is why you fucking like Theory for a Fucking Dead Man is in every shitty. I'm talking shit. Anyway, I'm sorry. But so anyway. Unless a director specifically wants your song in the movie, like when we had our song in Jennifer's Body, that was the director's choice. Jonas Åkerlund, who directed Horseman and so many other amazing movies and stuff, they specifically wanted our music for their movies. What's his name? Seth Meyers wanted us for the American Dad Christmas episodes, and so things like that. Like, it's really lucky that we get those things. But whenever a band can't really submit their music for being in a movie like that. But the next best thing though is that you can look it up on YouTube. Just look up like the Sword Apocryphon Marvel video game. They used a song of ours in this Marvel mobile game a long time ago, and if you watch the trailer, it's pretty fucking rad, and that'll scratch that itch for you if you just hop on YouTube, try to find that video game trailer, and you'll see what it would be like if Apocryphon was in a Marvel movie. All right, let's see. Jason S wants to know, only one song from Used Future was on the set list. If you could have added another song of your choice from that album, what would it have been? We played Deadly Nightshade every night. I love the song Twilight Sunrise. I don't know why we don't play it more. That song's rad. Yeah, that would be the one that I would add. Let's see. Oh, he also wants to know, how many guitars do you own and which one is your favorite to play? I actually sold many of my guitars over the pandemic. Halfway out of survival, halfway out of just, I'm not really like a collector. I look at guitars are like kind of like tools for me. I get to, it's fun in the studio playing all kinds of different stuff, but then when it comes time to play live, I need a guitar that is very versatile, that can do all the things that I cooked up in the studio. And so my Reverend signature, that's the reason I designed the guitar that way, is because it is very versatile. It's a great tool. I love that guitar. I played in the studio as well, but live I own like 4 of those things, 5 of them maybe, I don't know, that are my standard, because we have E flat songs, C standard songs. Sometimes if I play in another band and they tune to E, I have to like have an E guitar laying around. So it's the reason that I have so many is because they're all in different tunings, and I have to have backup guitars that are in those tunings in case I break a string. You never know when you're gonna break a string. Oh God, here we go. Mishka Shubali, what's up, Mishka? He wants to know, what's the difference between Adderall and Flexeril? So Mishka was kind enough to gift me with some, what would you call it? Just some helpers. I need a little help on tour sometimes, And so, yeah, he gave me something to help keep me up and something to help me go to sleep. And I accidentally got the pills mixed up in Denver and took a muscle relaxer before we played. And it was the best show of the whole tour. It was fantastic. So, hey, happy mistakes. Happy mistakes. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Tanner Austin. This is the last one, y'all. Tanner Austin wants to know, do you guys try to do any exercise or lifting while on tour? If so, how do you squeeze that in? I always have the best intentions of like trying to stay in shape or exercise more or doing something. But, being on tour itself, like, moving all of our own gear, playing the show, itself and everything is it's a fair amount of activity and exercise. If it wasn't so cold, I would have done a lot more walking. I try to get my steps in. But yeah, it was a very cold tour, so we spent a lot of time just huddled in the van, fucking smoking weed and just trying not to freeze to death. But yeah, that's it. Okay, that's the old tour wrap up. It is so good to be home. I've already got a bunch more interviews lined up for the podcast, so hopefully next week we'll start cranking them out a little bit more regularly, and then we'll hit the road with Clutch, and then do it all over again. Love y'all so much. Thank you for listening. I sincerely could not do this without y'all. It really means a lot that you tune in every week, and yeah, don't stop. Don't ever stop listening. I need you. Yeah, one more time. Thanks, y'all. Take it easy. I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to The Highway with Kyle Shutt. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you want to keep up with the latest episodes. And don't forget to check out the Highway with Kyle Shutt playlist on Spotify to keep up with all the rad tunes that we play on the program. And if you need some new gear in your life, don't forget to check out Reverend Guitars, Railhammer Pickups, Idiot Box Effects, and Ray Decker Cables. Stay high, everybody. We'll see you next week.